Mentally or physically, success can be defined as getting up one more time after you've been knocked down over and over and over again. My name is T.Wood, and this is Triumphant Moments, where I highlight significant moments in life that are beyond the surface to encourage, inform, and inspire people to triumph over life's challenges. With me today, I have Mr. Reggie Abreu, one of my good friends. I consider him the Superman of wellness. Reggie, how are you, my man?
I'm blessed, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. So how's it going so far?
It's going pretty awesome, man. I got a good start to my day. I woke up early at 5, got my meditation in, got my workout in, got a good stretch in, running some errands, and got some business stuff done. And now we're here to, add some value to the people and tell some good stories and all that good stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, here we're just going to go ahead and dive right on in. Okay. All right.
Let's do it. Okay. That's what I'm here for.
First and foremost, you grew up in the Bronx. What was that like?
Oh, man. It was a little bit of everything, man. From seeing, gangs and prostitution and, poverty, but I got to see a little bit of everything because just in my household, I had a brother who was alcoholic. I had another one who was on heroin. I had another brother, who was really into drugs and stuff like that. But then, one of my other brothers was an administrator at one of the schools. Another one of my brothers was in college. So I got to see the whole spectrum of what life can look like based off of the decisions that you make.
Wow.
And, I think a big thing for me growing up that I heard that I know gave me a lot of confidence was that if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that gave me a lot of confidence.
Definitely.
And, all the different things that I experienced, all the diversity, I feel like that was a great thing.
Being in mental health care, being a healthcare professional, actually, I've actually worked in the section of assisting with foster care and things like that. Now, I'm very familiar with the foster care system. Now, there are many challenges to overcome for any child inside of foster care. So my question for you is, what challenges did you have to overcome while navigating your way through foster care?
I think in the beginning, I don't remember too much of my early childhood. I don't know if it was because I shut it out or just because I was young. But I know one of the struggles was kind of just being separated from my mom and my two siblings. I never met my blood father. But I know it's a big struggle of just being separated and that adjustment. But I also do remember just feeling some relief when I did get with my adopted parents. One of my earliest memories was just eating at the, dinner table with my parents, and I was eating some food, and then they was like, man, he's really hungry. So I don't know if I must have been throwing down, and maybe my situation before that, I wasn't really eating that much or something. But growing up, I think it was just struggling with when I'm black, but in this Puerto Rican household, so am I black, am I Puerto Rican, kind of what am I, how to identify. And then my adopted parents were I was really young, I was adopted by them when I was around 4 or 5. They were probably in their 60s when they first took me into foster care, so they were older. So they weren't able to do as much with me and stuff like that, but my brothers kind of looked out. But it was definitely an interesting time because I had it really well. I had a really good experience with them. But I think the issues of identity kind of would mess with me at different times. And then, they both actually passed away by the time that I was about 13, 14. My adopted mom passed away when I was in the 8th grade. And my adopted father passed away a year after that. So, that was really tough. You know what I'm saying? It was really tough to say the least. And I remember talking to my older brother who was also actually adopted from a different family. And he said, I took it really hard when they both passed, especially my father. And I think it was because I didn't have a father figure growing up. So, you know, we were really close once I got to that house. So it was a lot as a child. But I was doing the best that I could, man. I was doing the best I could, and I thank God for them because they gave me a great foundation in the short time that I was with
Now, amongst everything, in listening to that, you mentioned your older brother. Is it safe to say your older
them.
brother became somewhat of a father figure, or was it just like, okay, this is my older
Yeah.
brother? Okay.
I wouldn't say he was my father figure. I always looked at him as my big brother,
Okay.
but he was providing as if he was a father. He was providing, you know, love and nurture at the same time as if he was a mother. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
you know, when he took over, you know, to this day, I mean, I never recollect missing a meal. You know, I never recollect, you know, we never got kicked out of the house that I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? So he just took over and he didn't skip a beat. And, you know, I'm pretty sure it wasn't as easy as he made it seem. But he didn't let, you know, whatever stress he was going through, like, you know, he just kept it to himself and he just stayed rock steady. You know, he worked extra hours. You know, I did know that he was working longer and stuff like that, but he just made it happen, man. There was always cooked food. You know what I'm saying? You know, he just held it down, man. And not only for me, but a lot of my friends would come over and he would cook for all of us. You know what I'm saying? So all of my friends,
Wow.
you know, it's kind of like, you know, how every neighborhood you have the house that is open for, you know,
Right.
multiple children to be there. My house was one of those spots. So
Wow.
to this day, a lot of my homies are asking, yo, how's your brother doing? How's your brother doing? How's your brother doing? So, you know, he held it down, man. Like, he held it down, bro.
Well, again, that's actually a good question that you just kind of pressed on. How is he doing now? Your brother, he still in the area?
So yeah, he's still in New York. He works in social work. Actually, he just has a passion for helping people, and he's doing awesome. He's probably one of the, and I know some people that travel. You know, I know some people that are, you know, just traveling the globe, and he's got to be probably at the top of the list, like literally number one. Like he, regardless of what's going on in his life, he's gonna make sure he hops on that plane and he experiences the world. And he's one of the best people to this day that I could call to for advice, and not even asking him for advice, but just through the course of our conversation, he's gonna drop some nuggets on me, and I appreciate that because, you know, it's good to read the books and go to the seminars, but sometimes you just need some life spoken into you.
Wow.
by people that you love, you know what I'm saying? And he's definitely that person. I know if he picks up that phone, I'm a hang up feeling better, you know what I'm saying? And that's my brother, man. I love him, man.
As far as your biological folks, your parents, what is the current, I guess, a update you would say or provide for them? Is there anything, any connection there? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I know my mom. You know, she had me in Brooklyn, New York. So I was raised in the Bronx, but I was born in Brooklyn. But that's literally all I know outside of her name. You know.
Right.
But I've tried to search for. Once you get officially adopted,
right.
Then the adoption agency seals your records. So pretty much the only way that you could get connected to your family is like if like people literally have to make the effort, you know, to make it happen on both sides. But I don't know if my mom, you know, whether if she didn't want me or if she was on drugs and wasn't able to take care of me or just didn't have the money or alcohol or I didn't know what happened. And same thing with my father.
Wow.
I don't remember ever seeing him, so I don't know what happened there either. But honestly, there's no
there's no hard feelings,
malice. Yeah,
okay.
There's no malice because I ended up in a great situation. I think it would have been different. You know, my therapist asked me this all the time. He was like, you know, you may not think there's feelings there, but there could, and there probably could be. But to my knowledge, you know, at least right now, I don't feel any type of way because I ended up in such a great situation. I've heard of foster kids that jump from home to home to home to home, and they're getting abused, and this is happening, and this happened. And that wasn't my experience. I literally went to one foster home. They adopted me. They treated me well, you know, and then when they passed away, I was still treated well, you know, and provided an awesome life by my older brother. So, I feel like, whatever happened to my mom, she let me go to be in a better situation, and you can't ask for anything more than that, you know what I'm saying? So I just hope that they're well, and, hopefully we get to link up, before it's all said and done, you know what I mean?
See, here's the thing that I want all the listeners to hear right now. First off, Reggie is a really, really good friend of mine, okay? And I can sit here and tell you from just point up front stage experience, this brother is a walking ball of encouragement, okay? He is absolutely a walking ball of encouragement. We're all human. We all have our days where we may be up, down, or whatever. But I'm talking about consistency, because consistency in believing where you want to go, what you want to be, and how you want to do it thrives primarily on the motivation of how consistent you can be in that thing that you want to do. And to me, he represents that. Absolutely represents that. With that being said, now you heard those trials that he went through. So Reggie, at what point, what made you realize that corporate America wasn't for you?
Man, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for that compliment, man. It definitely means a lot to be considered consistent, because it's not always easy. It's underestimated. And to be able to encourage somebody else, it's an honor, because we all need encouragement in this life, you know what I mean?
Right.
As far as corporate America, I went to college, got my bachelor's in, I studied business, communication, and Spanish. And I worked in corporate America for about 5 years. My first job, I was working doing, some payroll stuff in New York. I did that for maybe 6-8 months. Got a job offer in Washington, D.C. I was working at a political caucus, and it was some pretty solid pay. We got to travel a lot, which was probably the best part of the job. I was around politicians and people with power and stuff like that.
Wow.
So the perks were pretty cool. I love the concept of helping people. That's something that I've always loved. So we were helping people through the law, through legislation. But I just always remember this feeling of, this is cool, but I don't know, man. It's not quite, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're at the place where they tell you you're supposed to be at, but you don't feel like you're supposed to be there.
Not complacent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it just didn't feel like it was me. So I got laid off from that job after 3 years. I was unemployed for about 6 months, which was literally one of the most trying situations in my life, because you go from a pretty good job situation to nothing. You're on unemployment, and you kind of start questioning your self-value, because you're like, especially as a man, where you're told, you need to get to 6 figures as fast as possible. You need to have a house. You need to have a nice car.
Right.
You need to be getting it. I live in Washington, D.C. It's not cheap to live here. When you go out to the nightclubs, you got to have on a nice suit. You got to be blinging, shining, all these different things. So if I don't have a job, how can I get to any of those things, right? So I'm anxious and stressed out. But then over time, I learned how to start working on myself. So I started reading books that literally helped me to change my mindset and my habits. And eventually, I got hired at another job, took a pay cut. I got to that job, and literally within the first week of being there, a third of the company got laid off.
Wow.
Including the person that hired me.
Oh, wow.
The people that had been there for over, decades, and people that were brand new that had just came in with me. So I consider myself lucky to still be there. But it was just such a stressful environment. Every other week people were getting laid off from there. Things that they had promised me, in the job interview never came to fruition. So I was there for a year and a half and got laid off again. So I took that as a sign. It's like, maybe this corporate thing isn't for me. So that's when I really kind of realized, okay, this may not be my route. But I had started building, a part-time business with Herbalife Nutrition. And, it's just a side hustle in my mind. I always looked at that as a side hustle that I could use, to make some money while I was searching for something new along the way. And I just eventually started, I always knew that I loved helping people And as I started seeing how I was helping people with this business, I realized, I think I might have found my lane. And, I just kept growing it, kept helping more people. I realized that I was good at it, and I was passionate about it, and I was making money from it. So it was like the trifecta. And, just kept growing it. After about a year, I got to the point where I was making more from that business than I was when I was in corporate America. And I said, this is it. And I never looked back. So I've been in business for myself now for over 7 years.
Wait a minute. We're not just going to graze over the fact that clearly you lost some weight from this. You lost about 40 pounds and keeping it off?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. So that was a big part of my transformation too. And I think just getting, you get to the point where you're making money, but you may be stressed out and maybe having bad habits. So I know one of the bad habits that I had was overeating. And I think looking back, I was probably trying to fill a void that could never be filled through food. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember if I was mad about something and sad about something, I just ordered, some pizzas, a bunch of Chinese food, McDonald's, whatever. I drink a bunch of soda like it was water, and I got really overweight. And, the Herbalife Nutrition Products definitely helped me to make a transformation, because I was trying a lot of different things, from eating less food to working out more, trying a couple gimmicks out there, and just nothing was working for me. And, with the products, it just gave me something that was simple to use, something that tasted bomb. And, I just stayed consistent with it. You still have to be consistent. I was working out, and, I just put it all together. Like you said, I lost 40 pounds, put on about 8 pounds of muscle. My energy, was way better. And, I just felt awesome. I'm saying? I got in better shape than I was before. So, that was a big impetus for the business taking off, because people saw my transformation physically, but people were also noticing how my character, my personality was changing. Because like I said, I was reading books. I was starting to work on that personal development, that mindset to go along with it. And, it was history from there.
So what you're telling our listeners is that they don't have to go into a mode of just eating straight salads every day. Sometimes just going a whole half a day without eating at all, because there's a misconception about, if you really want to lose the weight, that you either have to starve yourself or just pretty much make salads your primary part of your primary diet.
No, I mean, if you go into, only eating half of the day, that's probably the worst thing that you can do, because now your body's going into starvation mode, and it stores body fat, so it's actually, even worse for you. But the thing is, you want to eat. You don't have to give up everything, but it's all about moderation and just making some small changes, because over time it adds up to big results. You know what I mean?
So are you telling me just instead of the whole cheesecake, I just do half the cheesecake?
See, the half the cheesecake is in moderation. So we do a slice, you know what I'm saying, and then you keep it pushing, and that's it. So what I mean by moderation is, literally back in the day, I probably would have a slice of cheesecake, maybe 2, every day. Literally, like, not exaggerating.
Wow.
Like dessert was part of my grocery shopping. Like, I had at least 2 cakes of pies, in that grocery basket every week when I went shopping. And it would be done by the time that I went shopping again. I'd get some ice cream order. Wow. And I was eating dessert every single day.
Wow.
Now I eat dessert about once or twice a week.
Wow.
So that's what I mean by moderation. I still eat dessert. I just don't cut it all the way out, but I don't do it every day like I used to. I still eat fried chicken. I just don't eat it every day like I used to. Now it might be once a week, once every other week, something like that.
See,
we go out to eat, we enjoy stuff, but we're not eating junk every single day.
Okay, so it's not becoming excessive. Is basically what you're saying. You're actually okay.
Because that's also unhealthy to just drink, shakes and only eat salads and not to enjoy the sweets and the baked goods and the fried stuff. To just be super strict is actually not good for your body too.
Why is that?
So It's just about balance. It's about moderation because when you eat too strict, it actually increases your stress levels in your body. And when you have higher stress levels in your body, that causes the body to store fat.
Okay.
And I think it's also a mental thing too. If you know that you're almost like suppressing yourself from things that you want,
right,
it puts you like in a state of like, almost like resentment because, you feel like you're neglecting yourself.
Absolutely.
So to live a healthy life, it doesn't mean that you have to, suppress yourself. I was actually talking on another panel about this last night. It's like, you don't have to suppress yourself, but you do need self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference.
Absolutely. Now, see, in understanding that, we see that side, the part that it does for you physically and the part that it does for you mentally. Now, could you speak a little more on the entrepreneurship side of the health and being part of the whole wellness thing?
As far as how I eat impacts my business?
Right. Is there a way to monetize and be able to be healthy at the same time?
Oh yeah, for sure. So with the business that I do, in the beginning, I wasn't doing it to do a business. I was using the product just to get myself right. I wanted to get back in shape because when I was looking in the mirror, I got to the point where I didn't like what I saw. I remember for some reason going to the gym and stepping on the scale, which was something I didn't do. Like I was always used to being in shape. And I stepped on the scale and I saw a number that I had never seen before. And then I remember not too long after that, I had gotten tagged on a photo on Facebook. And I was wondering, why did this person tag me to this picture? That's not me. And I looked closer and it was me. And I didn't even recognize myself because I had gotten so overweight. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to change how I looked and really how I felt. And I was able to do that. But along the way, people kept asking me what I was doing. I've always been someone who enjoyed networking. I always enjoyed, adding people on Facebook or getting somebody's business card or, just staying in contact with people. We party, across the state, getting somebody's phone number and just texting from time to time. And they invite us to this and we invite them to that. So I always enjoyed networking. And, with this business, it gave me the opportunity that now that I had made this change in my life, I could show other people how to make that change in their lives. And I could make money from it at the same time. So it was literally the best of both worlds of being able to help people and make money and not having to choose between the two because, like I said, at the political caucus I used to work at, and this is kind of just the nonprofit world overall, you're kind of told, and I've heard this from a lot of people that work in different nonprofits, even outside of politics, that the culture is we help people, but we will almost be martyrs to the cause and not make a lot of money in the name of helping people.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't really like that concept. I believe that, and it said, in the oldest history book, service to many leads to greatness. You know what I'm saying? So this business literally gave me a way to serve the many.
When you summarize everything and take a look back at everything here, grew up in foster care, okay? And again, being an individual that works in the field, the profession of mental health, I assist in areas like that with pertaining to foster care. So I know the challenges, the ups and downs, and the challenges mentally, physically that, kids growing up can have. I mean, being apart from your immediate family, regardless, it can really wear down on you mentally, to the point to where I've had situations to many kids to where they don't necessarily remember everything about their childhood because they've suppressed it and kind of put it in a box and kind of put it away. But here's where I stand.
That's true.
Here's where I stand. You found a way to come from that. You use whatever resources that you had to come to this point, have a job, get a job working, but still want more, and found enough perseverance within yourself to push yourself to step out of corporate America and work for yourself. I just think that's awesome. We have something within our organization here at Triumphant Moments that we call encouragement for free. All right. So if you could right now provide some encouragement for free to all of our listeners, what would it be?
Man, you just hit it on the head, man. All that adversity, going through foster care, getting laid off from jobs, getting overweight and needing to lose the weight. During college, I was almost about to get kicked out, actually, because I was on academic probation.
Wow.
And the lady told me, you're probably better off, just going back home. You're probably not going to graduate. But that was actually the fire that I needed to get on it. And I ended up making the dean's list, for a lot of the semesters after that. But every adversity is actually probably the best thing for you, because through adversity, we're able to find ourselves. We're able to now maybe look at ourselves in the mirror, and a lot of times we know that we need to make a change, but it's not until we have our back against the wall that we actually act on that change. But every adversity, when I look at it, it sucked during that time, but I always ended up better on the other side. I just needed to take the time when I was in it to work on myself. And that's something I could say in every adversity, especially when I got laid off from those 2 jobs. When I was overweight, I was working on myself during those times. And I was learning, I was reading, I was asking people for advice. I was listening to seminars, I was praying, meditating, taking on good habits and dropping old habits. But literally, it's, adversity will really, truly, because you hear it all the time. You hear people that have, they might have lost, a child in a drunken car accident,
Right.
a drunken driver.
Right.
And that was a tragedy. That was adversity. But then they took it and they started this whole foundation that now, helps thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? So that adversity, in the long run, in the bigger picture, it helps them. And sometimes it helps them help more people than they were probably even thinking about helping before it. So I would say, if you're in adversity, and this is something I've learned more so recently, is to, when you're in it, not look at something that's happening against you, but actually happening for you. And what one of my mentors taught me is to, thank the adversity and to thank God, because he's giving you this challenge to make you stronger. It's no different than if you're at the gym and you usually bench 250. If you want to get stronger, we got to put on some more weight on that bench so you can get to 300 and you can get stronger.
Wow.
And that's all adversity is. It's a little more weight on that bench that it's going to suck when you're going through those couple reps, but you're going to come out stronger and better and wiser on the other side.
Wow.
So that's what I would say. Just keep going and look at your situation as something that's helping you.
To all the TM listeners, there is a lesson in adversity. There are lessons in adversity. My brother Reggie, where can anyone want to get in contact with you? They want to learn more. Where can they reach out on any of your social medias?
So if you're on Instagram, my Instagram handle is Build Your Temple, followed by the numbers 247. So Build Your Temple 247. And then on Facebook, Reggie Abreu, Reggie, Reggie, last name Abreu, A-B as in boy, R-E-U.
Don't worry, listeners. We will have him on the show again. Thank you, my brother, for attending this and being a part of this.
It was an honor.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Sometimes in life, you must fail in order to succeed. But one thing must remain certain. You never, ever, ever give up.